Welcome to Beyond the Document, the podcast from Formpack, where we discuss everything that is output, document, and customer communication management. Now, today we're going to look at how businesses, many of whom are our clients, utilize the data that they store within their mission-critical systems. Now, these can be HR, finance, ERP, CRM systems, those that are so important to them. And then we're going to look at how they use that data within those systems to enable them to make informed business decisions. So to help me on this journey, I'm delighted to be joined by Karolis Aleknavičius, CEO of our partner ERP Mechanics. Welcome to the podcast, Karolis.
Hello, hi.
Yeah, good to have you here today. Now, anyone here with CEO in their job title, I know, wears many different hats during their working day. So can you just give us an overview of what ERP Mechanics do, but maybe more importantly, how you're involved in a day-to-day basis?
Okay, so ERP Mechanics is a service company doing ERP implementations. And when we started is that we started with the subcontracting of resources or professionals in the field to others, like to big companies, big partners, and customers who have internal teams as well. Recently, we switched the I would say the strategy, and we focus on full scope project implementations as well in the Baltic region, and the work of mine has changed a lot. It's not only look for a resource, place the resource, but we have to find a project. We have to kind of bid for a project, assess, analyze, and make sure that customer has a full awareness of what's going to happen when within the project, and this is a key element really to work with the team internally, and as well make customer team happy and with full awareness. I kind of highlight that what is going to happen at which project stage. And that part is probably the most difficult for me as being a CEO, because it's very operational on the project level, which I try sometimes to get rid of. But that's at the moment of having in mind the size of our company and how fast we grow as well. Sometimes I have to do those things as well.
Yeah, and what I often see, Karolis, on that is it's also helping almost educating a client as to what will happen within that project, because they may not be fully aware of all the demands that are put upon their organization as well to make decisions or provide information, as well as the impact, the change management that needs to be there also.
Correct. That's the key. You mentioned a few words, really important, key management as well, educate. Yes, those are as well really important things. And what is, but those are most of the time they're missed, or because the customer comes in and says, I want to go fast.
Yeah.
I want to finish it fast. And of course, speed and or the right speed and the right, I would say, project structure and setup is the key elements, of course, to the success, right? And be measured and etc. But if there is no this awareness and education and the change management, what will change and how it will work, that's really a huge disaster at the end or mid of a project, basically. So we should always prepare for that speed, and as well educate the customer that it's not only partner speed, right? Because partner cannot go by himself, right? Because we are dependent on the business or the key employees from business, which are contributing to the project, with all information what they got and the processes and etc. Because they know the business, and we of course join their team and helping them out or supporting them with the implementation. We know technical stuff. We know how the system works, right? But there's still a very essential part is customer contribution, really.
Yeah, a digital transformation lead I spoke to said the only thing you ever can be sure of in these projects is that there will be change. Yeah, and it's keeping the eye on the end goal, but accepting that there will be some deviation from the route that you set on day one. I always thought that was an interesting comment.
Yeah, definitely that will be. Of course, everyone at the beginning is saying that We will not do any change, no modifications. We just follow the standard, and we will be pretty simple and easy. So we should make it, within a year or whatever it is. But it's always kind of it proves wrong in a way, and you can choose platform change project or whatever, which says itself it should not change a process or whatever it is, but it does in a way, and we have to be prepared, and as well we have to really, I would say, make sure that the customer understands that as well.
Got you. Okay. So given those type of clients that you have, and I know when we've spoken before, I know there's a lot of manufacturers or maybe logistical businesses that you work with. Those type of businesses do have data sets that are producing high volumes, high regularity of data and documents. So what type of use case and usual data sets do you see within your business?
Yeah, as you said, we usually work with manufacturers or wholesalers, like retail as well. And for those type of client is important. Let's say if a manufacturer a client is important that when they have ongoing implementation project, that let's say they assess it right, how the manufacturing processes are working and what are the documents and data sets as well are involved into that, because from the day one they start manufacturing process, or it should work, right?
Yeah.
Because if it stops, it goes into really huge damage anyway, and in some I would say
high impact,
lost sales and etc. Like for a wholesaler or retailer, what we see as well is that if they cannot issue quotations or if they cannot issue invoices, that's a huge trouble from day one. So in those cases, we have to focus that those data sets are right, from a day one. And when we will start operating on those data sets, we will not have any outages, because that's really a big loss for those type of customers.
Yeah. Okay. And when we then drill down on this, we're all generating more data on a daily basis in our home lives, in our personal lives, but definitely from a business perspective, because we're all using systems day in, day out, we're generating data. Now, some of that we need to hold on to for regulatory purposes. Some of it we can discard. And then you've got this middle ground of business information, business metrics, which we can learn from. We can learn a lot from. But I think the challenge to some of these businesses deeming what is useful and what they want to hold on to and what can be discarded. So do you see that as well? Maybe if we focus on a manufacturing company, for example, do you see them having those kind of challenges?
Yes, for the manufacturer companies, they have huge data sets as well to analyze and assess, because they have lots of raw materials as well involved in the whole thing, right? And of course they have huge warehouses as well to store raw and complete production as well. So I have been involved actually in one huge project where we assessed the stock level of raw materials and how fast they're being delivered, so lead times and so on. And it's really critical to have the data and understand the data afterwards. So being able to read, so being able to have it in the right format, which everyone could understand. Yeah, so visual information and not only text and etc. So it's crucial to have it, and as well crucial to I would say utilize it the right way, and I would say display it in an understandable format for everyone.
Yeah, I was speaking to a coffee company recently who sometimes get large volume orders, and that affects their stock level greatly. But of course, their raw material is usually coming from either Africa or South America, and then they've got to build in the logistical time of getting that product there, and given the instability in some of those regions, and all of these decisions need to be played into making a true business decision about when we purchase raw material compared to what we sell our finished product for. So they can be quite involved, I guess, processes for senior management to apply within the businesses. Yeah. Okay. Now, naturally, if we were just starting a project from day one with system implementation, we could identify these data sets from the start, and that would be lovely. Ground up, we want to achieve this. But as you and I know, often you'll be brought into a project which already has systems running, or the project's already ongoing. So that's where the Lasernet platform does come into play, not only from the fact that we can pick up data from multiple different source systems, but also then that can help us transform that data or maybe orchestrate that data into either data sets or meaningful communications. So can you touch on how you see Lasernet playing the role within an ERP, probably a Dynamics project?
Yeah. So in general, if you speak about output management, right? It is always like underestimated or left to the last minute, right? Which is completely wrong, right? And we always try to explain that it should not be done that way, right? Because in a way, if you make certain mistakes, in your data sets as well, and you're not be able to review that in certain printouts or data orchestration mechanism or other systems as well, which can exchange data with. You cannot really validate data or see data as it should be at the last point, right? Yeah. So we always say that you should really focus and have that in place from, I would say, as early as possible, that you could see how your end result would look like. Okay, because we have seen or been in projects where this has been underestimated, and basically we launched the project, and we see that, let's say, the invoice is wrong, right? And this is international, let's say, customer. And if you can issue just with the one award, let's say customer has award for, let's say, being a great in one region, and let's say that award is now published or is shared with all the customers around the globe, which should not be visible to everyone. And ERP system is complex. To make the change is pretty difficult. You have to shut down the system,
Yes.
do the update and kind of release it, kind of. So it's very complicated. So those things are really happening and quite often, basically.
Yeah, and I know we've said before there should be a focus on the endpoint, so the touch point with the customer is what you're showing in that communication. So think
Correct.
about that at the start is a lot easier than, as you've just alluded to, once you've got a system in play.
Yeah. So basically, Lasernet helps us a lot in those cases as well, because like we spoke in within the first topic or first question, right, that we have to educate customers, right? So not necessarily they're easy, right? So they say, yeah, we know we had different ERP projects before, yeah. So let's say Lasernet in this area works pretty well because we can, fix issues with output management within Lasernet pretty quick and fast, right? And we don't need to down the ERP system, as a whole and deploy, release, and etc. So in those cases, the customer who has a tool like a Lasernet, they win later on, basically.
And I think every episode of this podcast that we do, AI comes into it. But definitely on this topic, AI or maybe machine learning is one that is enabling us to take high volumes of data and really churn that through, push that through, and give us some meaningful output on the other side. So within your business, can you allude to probably the machine learning or AI tools that you're using to help you help your own customers as well achieve what they're setting out to?
AI is a big topic, these days, and good or bad or this and that, but in general is that we are learning that as well. Like as a tech company, we are learning that, and we see where we could utilize it, right? So we thought, okay, maybe it's good for customer support as a business for us, and then as well, of course, our customers has different demands. And like now, let's say previously Power BI was a key thing, to have. Now it's okay. Power BI maybe is given thing already, and AI is the one to look at and really kind of focus to kind of as a next thing to do. And some companies already is using AI, and they are kind of getting advices already on their data, because just to have a data is one. Understand or get an advice or understand what to do with data or get an advice is a different topic, right? So of course there are very knowledgeable CEOs or C-level people who know how to read the data and conclude what should we do next, right? But of course, in some cases there are missing such people, and AI could play a crucial, really role there, important role, and advise in a way what needs to be done with with your raw material or your finished goods, in terms of where to sell, where to kind of ship that, and how to organize that. So there are already systems in the play who helps a lot and advises a lot.
And I think it's similar to the previous topic that we had, where we know AI is there and it's going to be able to help us, but only if we can query it with the correct question that we're trying to get the answer for from the company. So we do still need that human judgment on what are we trying to achieve by assessing this data set or this feed of data that we're getting on an hourly basis from our systems to enable us to make a better decision within the company.
Yeah, but it just reminds me, like a couple of projects from my profile that there was a time where we were like learning like a theory of constraint theory, right? Which says how to manage your level in stock, right? And there are rules or policies how you have to behave and etc. So in a way, we were learning those things, like I would say, how to name it, not policies, but like rules, how the system works, right? And now we have to know how to query. So we don't, so we are not constructing ourselves like within the company. We just now have to learn how to query the thing, to ask the right question. So I would say that's a bit easier task to do, right? Because you can ask once again, or and then at the end you will have probably the right question, the right answer.
Now, ERP Mechanics was born in the beautiful country of Lithuania, and I know you've still got strong roots there, but I'm also aware of your expansion plans. So maybe you could bring the episode to a close by telling us about how the company is expanding and also why that's based on what you're seeing within the market and the market expansion as well.
Yeah. So I already mentioned before that we started like freelancers, right? And we were mainly doing subcontracting or body lease or And the next step was is project implementation, like a full scope. And of course, we focus not only on local market, but we look at it at a global scale. And we are happy that we have a partner like Formpipe, where we can, let's say, trust and grow together, because we see that, let's say, in US, Formpipe is doing a great job, and that gives as well for us an opportunity to jump into that region, I would say, even, right? And working on the same projects, implementing Lasernet as well, but as well getting to know ERP environment as well. So we follow, I would say, our expansion would follow partnerships and people we know from my network, basically. So US is now the third country we opened, because we originally from Lithuania, we opened Latvia as well, and now US. And we are focusing as well on Finland and Germany as well, and UK. So basically it'll be those countries. If we say we have a right people to go with, we definitely go with. And let's say the partnerships we have, we fully trust and we fully get engaged to go forward with.
Well, it sounds like really exciting times for the business, so that's good.
It is. I hope we have enough time within a day to to complete all our actions and goals to be achieved.
Well, that brings us nicely back to the start when I mentioned you're a CEO, so you have all these different things to be considering as well as individual projects.
Yeah, correct.
Well, Karolis, thank you for joining me today. That's been fantastic and all the best. But thank you for joining us on Beyond the Document.
Man, thank you. Thanks a lot.
And thank you for listening to Beyond the Document. If you're interested in what Karolis and his colleagues do, then please go and look at erpmechanics.com. I'm Ben Saxton. Catch you next time on Beyond the Document.